Thank you for joining me in the seats today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, obviously, I really enjoyed the film, and I mean, it's a story from a certain perspective that we don't necessarily understand or get really in sort of pop culture because you're playing such an incredibly strong woman who's being strong for another character who's has to live with the reality of whenever he goes out to do his job, he may not come back. And I'm kind of curious for you, what sort of process was it for you to sort of get in this kind of mindset and sort of find the character for you?
Well, actually, I mean, it wasn't like an initial reading of the script and understanding it straight away. Because I found the character to begin with a bit like she's such a strong, independent woman. But she has such a preoccupation with like getting married
Right.
and standing by her man. And for me, from a modern perspective, I kind of didn't really join the two.
Right.
And it was when only through meeting Miriam's family and through her daughter introduced me to a contemporary of Miriam's, and I just kind of, and then it was then that I remembered to kind of put myself in the kind of 1950s mindset.
Right.
Or the kind of Miriam has such a strength in her like self-assurity and instinct, and the idea that she's met her man and she knows it's her man, and this is what she wants, and she goes for what she wants in life, and so much so that she completely defies social convention when it feels right for her to approach her fiance's boss, because
Right.
it feels very wrong that he is out there in those conditions.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of respect for that character of kind of just completely going with the instinct in what's correct and what feels right for her.
Now I have to ask because obviously the Massachusetts, the Gloucester accent is a bit different from your current accent. Like, how long did it take to sort of get into sort of master that?
I mean, I don't think that I got to grips with it until the end of shooting.
Really?
Annoyingly. It was a good few months before. I mean, as soon as I found out I'd got the part, I was
Right.
working on the accent and listening to a lot of kind of older all women from the period, because it's like the Boston accent is quite different now. And so it was just lots of listen and repeat and
Right.
working with the dialect coach to get the sounds right, and then sort of going, oh, but she's working in a call centre and she might be slightly more educated than some of them, kind of finding that balance.
Is there a big difference for you, like in terms of, because I mean, you're working on something like Borgia's and then conversely something like Cinderella, where it's a big thing, but you have a smaller part, to
Yeah.
this, where it's like, okay, there's a lot on my shoulders. How does that sort of affect you?
Well, you know what? I didn't really feel like that while I was filming, because I was, I mean, it's a boys' movie, or it's essentially
Right.
about the kind of rescue.
Right.
I was thinking, and so, but it's actually it was only when I watched it that I was like, oh, only quite a lot.
Do you think you could ever do the job? The Coast Guard, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to say yes, but it's on days like this one,
Yeah.
times when you know that you're putting your life at risk, and when there's such a high chance that you might not make it through the day. I don't know quite how much my strength would would live through that one. I don't know.
At the end of the day, what's your pull away from the project? Because I mean, I can imagine every experience, every job's going to be different.
Yeah. I mean, it's what do I want? Sorry.
What was sort of your sort of, what did you think you learned professionally, personally, at the end of the day, sort of after doing this film?
After doing this film? I mean, you learn so much on everything, and for me, it was kind of I learned not to cry. I'm quite an emotional person, and so any emotional, I sort of like, I want to let the tears drop. But Craig, the director, was so persistent, and totally was with him on it, of like to kind of get her strength and to make it feel like it was never soppy. It was to hold on
Right.
to the tears until the very end of the movie. And so, you know, it was sort of hard to keep them in sometimes.
Other than Finest Hours, do you have sort of a favorite sort of disaster or sort of rescue kind of movie that you sort of go to that you like to watch?
Probably, and I'll probably remember exactly what it is when you leave the room. I love a good thriller. I love a good rescue movie.
Well, you know, that's it for me. Thanks for the time.